Hi everyone. Well, it's great to be with you, and really happy that we've arrived at the Feast of Shavuot, or Pentecost. So it's been 50 days since Passover, and here we are now at this festival of harvest, the first harvest of the latter rains. So the former rains come in the autumn time in agricultural Israel, and the latter rain comes just before the harvest. And that really speaks to us, doesn't it? Because we know in prophecy that this is often quoted, and we get excited that the latter rain of the Holy Spirit is poured out on the church, and therefore we can expect a great harvest to be around the corner. And it's no coincidence that the Holy Spirit was poured out at this Feast of Pentecost for many reasons, but certainly because the Holy Spirit and harvest is something which is absolutely intertwined. And of course, we're talking about spiritual harvest, and we're talking about the harvest of souls, reaping a harvest to come into to the kingdom. A really interesting thing I learned while going over the story of Ruth and Boaz was that when a harvest was taken in Israel, they were only allowed to do one pass with the sickle or the scythe, so that they didn't go back over the bits that they'd harvested, and anything left over then was left to be gleaned by the poor. So this really made me think, wow, this harvest that is coming, it's going to be a one pass before the return of the Lord. So we've really got to get on it with regards to prayer and to intercession, and to getting a bit bold before the throne of grace, and bold with those who we love and who don't yet know the Lord. So I don't know if you remember, but I brought to you some verses from Joel quite a while back now, and it's Joel chapter 2, which of course is quoted by Peter in his sermon in Acts chapter 2. So it's blow the trumpet in Zion, consecrate a fast, call a sacred assembly. Let the priests who minister to the Lord weep between the porch and the altar. And we've had a walk through the temple, so we're familiar with all of this now. And it talks about the reproach of the nations with regards to the nation of Israel, and I think it's a reflection of the state of the church and how society maybe views the church now. And why should they say among the peoples, where is their God? And in this lockdown, people have really got close to God, and there's been a great searching, I think, and reaching out. That's what we're hearing in these surveys which have been going on by various organizations. People are praying, and especially the young generation. So I believe that already we are feeling the raindrops of the latter rain coming down as the Holy Spirit starts to water the harvest, ready for it to be brought in. So then, before we come to the really famous passage that Peter quotes, we get a big picture of what restored Israel looks like. It talks about the threshing floors being full of wheat, the vats shall overflow with new wine, and I shall restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the crawling locust, the consuming locust, the chewing locust, my great army which I sent among you. You shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, who has dealt wondrously with you. I am the Lord your God, and there is no other. My people shall never be put to shame. So, you've really got to fasten your seatbelts, and he will cause the rain to come down for you, the former rain and the latter rain in the first month. So there we have it. And then we go on to hear the bit that was quoted by Peter. And after it shall come to pass that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and daughters shall prophesy, and your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And so it goes on, and you can read that for yourself. So it's interesting, isn't it, that we see the nation of Israel seeking the Lord again and restored as it is right now. We've never seen so many Jews believing in Jesus, and we've never seen the land of Israel so fruitful. And the fields are full of harvest, and the vats certainly are brimming over. You've got to see it to believe it, and as soon as you can get there, you really need to go. Don't delay it. And there in Mount Zion and Jerusalem there shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, among the remnant whom the Lord calls. So it starts in Jerusalem and it'll end in Jerusalem. But until then, we have to deal with our Jerusalem, which is on our doorstep, our friends, our families, our workplaces. So Acts chapter 2, when the day of Pentecost had fully come, they were all with one accord in one place, and you know the rest of the story. Interesting, though, when the day of Pentecost had fully come, so it was not the evening time, it was the morning, because this needed to be a public witness, and they were in one accord. Remember, the blessing comes with unity, and I really believe that the unity that we've seen among the churches in all sorts of things going on with lockdown is now going to be blessed with the Lord pouring out his Spirit at this time of Pentecost. So stay in fellowship, stay in one accord, but expect now for a great outpouring of his Spirit, because that is his plan and his purpose and his will for you. And just enjoy that rain of the Spirit falling down. Just seek the Lord now, and he will bless you with it. God bless you, and see you again tomorrow.